Okay, let's try that again. Having some camera difficulties. So after the initial test fit, I realized that the connection cap for the AC in and out stuck out so much that the water pipe had to be disconnected. And it's even worse than that. I ended up slicing a chunk of the wood leg there for the sidewall of the bench. Let me point to it. So, right in here, right underneath there, I chopped that off. It wasn't actually doing anything substantial. It's tight. This is tight across here, so it was only marginally a support mechanism. Everything I was pushing on said it shouldn't be a problem, so I went ahead and chewed that out in order to allow the pipes to actually fit slightly further to the right up underneath there. And I had to go ahead and disconnect the drain hose here from here. So I'm going to have to get a piece of hose. Not that I really expect to use this drain hose very often, and it sure is a pain to get at that. Let's see if you can see that. There, to get at that valve is going to be a pain. But I'm not really planning on draining and winterizing the unit hardly ever at all. So if I have to, I can get to it carefully. There'll be covers on the power connections from the battery, and these are not the final power connections. These are temporary ones clipped on the battery just to prove that the system is functioning. So that's a bit of a bother, but can be made work. The relay switch for the water heater and the power share switch have been bolted back down in slightly moved over positions, and I will have to go ahead and put a piece of pipe in to finish the elbow, to do a piece of pipe and an elbow to get that exit plumbing hooked up again. That was a pain to get off too. I don't have the inverter bolted down yet. I don't have the shield, the black plastic cover on the feed yet, but I do have it wired in so that I could test it and make sure that everything was going to work the way I expected. I did have to make some switch changes on the unit, and I will give those to you. Right now I have it set to position 3, which according to the book should give me the 14.5 charge volts. I'm going to double check that with the battery manufacturer to make sure that that's the correct setting for this. And there's a set of switches on the side, and I'll simply have to document that on the website, on the blog, what those switches are set to. I'm not going to try to pull this thing up. It's heavy and video it right now. The way that I did the interconnect is that the original cable, this is the original cable here. Oh, let's actually point the camera at what I'm looking at. The original cable that was connecting into the transfer switch, I disconnected from the transfer switch and brought over and fed into the output of the inverter. So the output connection of the inverter is going across this original piece of cable into the breaker box. The new piece of cable, same 10/2, orange, which is good for 30 amps, AC 120, is connected from the terminals that I disconnected on the transfer switch, that I removed the feed from the transfer switch to the breaker box. So this is plugged into in its place So basically the feed from the transfer switch, which is going to be either the AC shore power or the generator, is going to come down this yet uncovered cable, come into the inverter on the inside of the inverter, and then the output side goes to the breaker box. So when I turn this guy on, now I don't have, I've just used some cheesy probably 30 amp capable, whereas the battery can do 200. I've just used some cheesy test clips type of thing here temporarily just to test it out. I'm not putting any load at all on the inverter. I'm just testing functionality. If I was to put a load on this, I'd probably start arcing on those. So what I'm going to do is turn this guy on, just to focus here. Comes on, he's providing inverted power, and the microwave is on, and my test indicator shows good. So now I'm going to start the generator. So generator running. When the generator's delayed transfer switch kicks over, because I'm not connected to shore power, so right now I've got no AC coming into this inverter. Once that kicks in, then this thing should switch over to it, and the lights should change. Just heard the transfer switch kick. I've already tested this once, so I know it does work. There it goes. Hallelujah. So what I've got is now two lights. I've got AC mode is turned on. I know this is upside down, sorry. The whole thing's upside down to me. And I've got fast charge, which is probably not the best thing for my cheesy little clips, but we'll get away with it for a little bit anyway. I have the charge current turned down too, so that I shouldn't be overloading anything. And the indicator light here shows that I'm in charge mode. The microwave is on, and if I kick off the generator, sounds like the microwave beeped, although I didn't see the display flicker. But I'm back on inverter power. Alright, I would say that this part of the test is a success. What remains to be done is cover this cable, so it's the same as the other ones, and then go ahead and bolt this guy in. I'll take a picture of the end with the switches first so I can document what I've done there. And then go ahead and what I'm going to need to do is build a small shelf here above the inverter to put the battery on. And if I do this right, I should be able to get one of these batteries here and a second one over here and put them in parallel. But for today's purposes, all I need is one single battery hooked up. And I've got all of the super fat DC high current cable and connections to do all of that, so there's a bit of work to do there. And of course I'll need to put those connections in place before I actually bolt the thing down. Also, I need to install the Victron, which I haven't even taken out of the package yet. So that will, the shunt needs to be installed, but that goes on the negative side of the battery. So that'll all be done topside once I get the inverter buttoned up. So that's the inverter's functioning, and once I get the battery, and another thing that I will need to do is to pull the converter, which is currently attempting to charge the house battery, and in its place, wire a connection over to this battery. Now I'm not going to do that until I've gotten a fuse put in it as well, which I've got on order. So, alright, things seem to be progressing on the inverter front, and it looks to be in good shape.